this video, we're going to talk about why in Australia the Indian specialty chefs and cooks are always in demand and how you can be able to reach Australia with ease. Let's get into the video. I'm Sundar Guruswamy. I myself, a qualified chef, worked both in India and Australia for many years, and I'm now heading a company which is assisting hospitality and other professionals for the last 25 years to helping them to find a dream career in Australia. Why Australia is considered as a dream destination for many cooks and chefs? One of the main reasons is Australia allow the candidates to take their family along at the work permit visa itself. Plus, it allows you to find a pathway which can lead up to a permanent residency to settle down in Australia. Also, Australia considered as one of the safest and also very happy country to live and raise your family. This is very important reason many people even working in other overseas countries are planning to move to Australia. You may be surprised why all of a sudden there is a demand for Indian and South Indian chefs in Australia. If you look at the Indian diaspora, which is really a huge community at the moment, Indian cuisine is considered to be used to be a takeaway some time back, say about 20 years back, but now there are a lot of fine dining and upmarket and exclusive Indian restaurants not only cater for the Indian community but also the international community with an extensive wine list and looking for a real gourmet experience. So if you have an experience in the 5-star environment in India, and Australia is a perfect destination for you to explore that career. As a chef, you have multiple visa options. Number 1 is a 482 subclass work permit visa, and number 2 is 189-190 point-based permanent residency system, and 186 is a direct entry PR, which away from the point system. If you look at the 2024 statistics in recent times, the current invitation which has come for an EOI for a cook or a chef in Australia is about 90 points, which is way high than usual. That means you need to be really good in certain areas of your correct age and your qualification related work experience, and your English has to be at top notch. Then what are the other ways we look at? If you don't have that point system, you don't need to worry about. That's where the 482 subclass work permit visa will be very handy. And let's look at what are the areas where you have the demand for this 482 subclass visa. If you are a South Indian cook or a chef, you need to have at least 3 to 4 years of experience, hands-on experience in South Indian cooking. You could be specialized in South Indian breakfast dishes or South Indian thali, regional cuisines like Chettinad, Malgudi or Udupi, doesn't matter. The whole of South Indian cuisine is a fantastic cuisine and needs a lot of skill and expertise, and Australia looking for such chefs and cooks. Now let's come to the Indian curry chef. If you are an Indian curry chef, you should be very well versed, at least to have about 3 to 4 years of experience. Again, hands-on work experience, both in a la carte as well as bulk cooking. And many Indian restaurants looking as this is a basic requirement. And you need to know all the basic gravies, marinations, and a fine plating. That means if you have an experience in a contemporary plating standards, you have a very high demand in Australia. Let's say you are a tandoor specialty cook or a chef. You must be knowing all the kebabs, tikkas, and also the naan and other Indian breads, which is very important because you need to be hands-on tandoor chef. Many times people say, no, I know tandoor, I can handle tandoor, but I haven't worked for the last 2 to 3 years. So that doesn't work. So you must be really hands-on and you must be well aware of all the marinations. Also, if you have an additional knowledge and experience about some curry, that multitasking will be very handy if you are a tandoor chef looking for Australia. Now let's talk about a very high demanding and exclusive area, the halwai chefs and cooks. There is a tremendous need for you in Australia. What are the things you need to know? Of course, you need to know majority of the Indian sweets and savories. Plus, if you know a little bit of knowledge and hands-on experience about the Bengali sweets, then your demand is very high. One of the very important thing which I want to point out is the English requirement is must, because what we have found that many halwai chefs and cooks are very good in their skill, exceptionally well, but they struggle on their language skills. So if you are working in a hotel environment and you're specializing in halwai, and your English is good enough, you are able to communicate in English, I'm sure that you have a fantastic dream career in Australia. And if you like to know that what are the prerequisites you need to go through to become eligible to apply for Australia, one of the things is the skill assessment. Australian government insists that you need to apply to an assessing body in Australia and assess your skill both on documentation wise, on the technical skills, and get an equivalency certificate, and that is mandatory for any visa you apply for Australia. When it comes to English, the English requirement is not just fixed because it varies from one level to another level based on the visa you apply. If you just go for a work permit visa, the English requirements are very basic, but when you apply for a permanent residency, the English requirement demand is much higher. So we are happy to assist you and look at your file on a case-to-case basis and advise you on what is your exact requirement, both in skill assessment as well as for English. A lot of people are asking how much they need to budget for the process. Usually it varies from around 3 lakhs to around about 7 lakhs based on the level, category and the specialization you apply. This is including the immigration department application fee, the skill assessment fee, also the professional fee for handling your visa application. So based on the category and the level, the budget will vary, but we are very happy to look at your file and exactly which category and level you will be fitting in. When it comes to the processing duration, it varies from 2 months to around about 6 months, depends on what documentation and what level of process you are in. Sometimes people may not require the skill assessment. That way, it's only considered as a visa duration. So each and every candidate is very different in terms of the entry requirement, the cost and the budget, as well as the duration of the process. When I say it's a worthy investment, you must be asking what is the kind of a salary you could expect working in Australia. As per the Australian government regulation, the minimum salary you need to get paid is around about 73,000 per annum, which is related to roughly between around about 3.5 to 4 lakhs per month, which is a very good salary comparing the rest of the world. If you want to know in depth about that 482 visa, how it works, and we have dedicatedly posted a video explaining the entire process about 482 subclass visa, please watch that video.